the leading 8 only, as we welcome the relay teams. India A will be on the inside.
Sri Lanka.
Sri Lanka. Some of these teams have been pulled together by team managers overnight. They'll be strong. The key battle that we're looking for is India A against India B, we think, don't we?
I remember at one particular point of time, the Sri Lankans used to be a very strong outfit in the 4x400. They would come to India in the Grand Prix events and really get the better of the Indians. Sugat Tilakaratne was one name I remember, who was an Asian silver medalist in the 400 meters.
Well, I remember all of those names simply because they're so long. If you're introducing 4 athletes in a relay, name by name, or on a medal podium, you have to say them in full, and some of those would have scored 500 points in Scrabble. Very, very long Sri Lankan names. It looks as though we don't have India B, so it is Iraq against Sri Lanka against India.
Back to the long jump now, and back to the 4x400. India A with a very strong outfit. You can watch Vishal TK there. He won the 400 meters earlier on.
We've got the declarations for some of the athletes in this 4x400 metres. So I think India was quite late to declare. But Sri Lanka, well, here we go again. You can do it, because these are... You could never have these names on vests, because you would need a vest about the size of the long jump pit. Senarath Mudai Salangi, SW Raja Karuna, Jayathun Galagi, Imesh Dishmitha and Silva Kiriwitagi are the Sri Lankan team. Iraq go with Taha Hussain, Diriwar and Al-Taimi. Oh, and the Indian team has now come in vision. Do you recognise them?
So the
is this the winning team?
Of course, is TK Vishal. Well, he won the 400 meters earlier on. Amol Jacob finished with a silver in the 400 meters. Chaudhary and Dharamveer. So my bet, I'm sure, would be on the India A team for sure. This is virtually the same side which was a part of the... We're going to have the 4x400 meters, 3 teams in the fray here in the final event of the fabulous one-day World Athletics Continental Tour here at the Kalinga Stadium in Bhubaneswar. Starting for India would be Amoj Jacob. That's the India A team. Vishal TK would be, I suspect, the anchor. He's been India's top 400 meters runner. With the number 1 and number 2 today, TK Vishal and Amoj Jacob, they surely would be out there to take the 4x400 by a mile.
Well, it'll be interesting to see, because when a team does that, I remember the USA with Michael Johnson used to dominate from the first leg. You don't want to be the weak link. You don't want to be the one with a split that is a second slower than everybody else's. So if the first guy goes off quick, everybody else has to follow suit. There'll be no coasting here.
Remember, 1600 meters vis-a-vis 400 meters.
You might notice in the background the stadium emptied. Not emptied, but a lot of them left after the men's 200 metres. And I couldn't figure it out, because we had lots of good racing and good competition to come. It's a school night. It's a school night, isn't it? They've got to be back home and in bed. It's school in the morning.
I still remember as school kids, when we would go for an event of this nature, the children would shout to the principal and the teachers in the stadiums, give us a holiday tomorrow. And most times we did manage to get a holiday for the next day.
Well, these guys have certainly made a big contribution to the atmosphere. I'm sure those watching around the world will have been impressed by that. Almost full, above 10,000. lively atmosphere, and hopefully they'll go away, and if somebody says, are you coming again next year? Yes, please. Can I bring my friend?
This morning, after we went back after the morning session to the hotel, I saw the recording of the live streaming, and there was an international flavor to the viewership out here. So that obviously meant there were odd times. Can you imagine the United States of America? There were some people who were watching it, they said we were from America, and it was midnight out there. So that augurs well for the sport.
Yeah, it was sparse within the stadium, as you'd expect, and some of those times, as we mentioned, were world records for 7:30 in the morning doing 100 metres. It's a rare thing and an unusual experience, but one that you could encounter at championship level in very hot climates.
So a reminder that the Indian team has got Vishal TK, Amoj Jacob, Chaudhary and Dharamveer. That's the Indian quartet. The Sri Lankan team, Senarath with Rajakurna, and then you got Silva, and finishing off will be Idupa. Iraq with Hussain. The second of them will be Jamal. The third would be Abdullah, and the last of them, the anchor, would be Adil. The Iraqis, like the Sri Lankans, have longish names once again.
When I look at the dates of birth, and we do have that on our computer system, I see 2007, 2008, and I think, goodness me, I've got shirts older than that. I've got things in my fridge older than that.
So the 400 meters, the relay.
I think they're complaining about the noise from the crowd. There is still quite a large contingent clustered at the balcony, and on the outside lane, I don't think they can hear the starter's command. It's a good problem to have in a way, but we have a railroad to run here, don't we? I think so. It's a green card being issued, I'm sure, because they can't hear. Boisterousness. Show a birthday card.
Finally set off now here in the first of the 400 meters. Out here, of course, the favourites, but don't miss out on the Sri Lankans, Iraqis. Out here, the Iraqis making sure that they would want to give their very best out here. That's a bit of a surprise.
Yeah, it's normally a two-bend or a three-bend stagger. I think that they've just run off a two-bend stagger here, but this, well, is assuming the normal order now, but he left it a little bit late. He'll be passing over in the middle, not on the inside. In fact, on the outside, because he was third at 100 metres.
It is Vishal TK who takes the second and not the anchor. He's been fresh from the 400 meters where he won the number one position. Now you take those huge strides, far the most experience of the Indian runners out here. He continues the same momentum. I don't think he's going to push himself because he's got nothing to really lose out here.
Well, it makes it exciting, doesn't it? This next handover, where it could be very tight. Remember, they line up from the inside in the order they were at halfway. But this is the halfway point in the race. We've only got 2 laps to go, and you could fit all 3 in a phone box.
Moment I thought that after the first 200 meters, it would be Vishal TK. It's now going to be left to the two of them, Chaudhary and Dharamveer for India. They continued that momentum of that lead. But the Sri Lankans have slowly but surely slipped in now. It's a different game plan for the Sri Lankans.
I think he's gone out very riskily, the Sri Lankan here. You can see his eyes are blazing. He's full on. But let's see if the lactic sniper comes into play in the closing 50 metres, because that was full on. To go that quickly past, there's sometimes a price to be paid.
That lead is not going to hold him in good stead for a time, because the Indians from the inside has made that was a change in strategy. They got plan number B into action out there. Well, for sure, the Sri Lankans out knows it's.
Well, it's deafening. All the kids have come down to the edge of the rail right by the finish line. Not over yet, but India have got some firepower on this last leg, but the other two teams are not rolling over.
Ranveer it is who takes the anchor for India. He's been a strong 400 meters by himself. Iraq and Sri Lanka are not one to give up there. They're pushing Ranveer there towards the final 60 odd meters. I suspect he'll take it away.
Look at this for a finish. It's going to the wire and it's going to be Sri Lanka. What a race. Oh, that was some run on the final leg there.
Did I say that the Indians will take it away towards the end?
It's not over till the fat lady sings. Well, his team will carry him shoulder high. It's quietened the crowd right down, because it did look like a lap of honour at one point, but it's that whole thing of over-committing down the back straight, because it's a fine judgment with the levels of lactic that will keep you pumping down the home straight, and the Indians haven't gone to each other. Look at this, look how far he's coming back from. He's in third here, now second, and now with only 10 metres to go. Wow, what an anchor leg that was.
Well, they certainly kept themselves 308.22, and that's a picture which I'm sure the Emerald Isle will celebrate, the four of them. We've been talking about historically how strong the Sri Lankans have been.
So this, I think, now that all of the action is concluded, will be one of 5 medal ceremonies. Oh, we're still going, of course, still going. Track action's finished, but we've still got the long jump in its final stages. Let's keep an eye on how that is developing.
So what an anticlimax this was.